Hey guys, it's Tiffany and welcome to Wise Skies. This is take 2 on your February forecast. I'm recording during a Mercury retrograde period and I hope this round is going to make it for you. But as we look into February, you know, it's the second month and it's 2022. So I know a lot of you guys that see 222 out there are really just going to have a fun time with the numerology this month. The numerology in the month of it is an 8. And so we're in an 8 universal month and a 6 universal year, and that matches really well with the astrology. I feel like it's that feeling of infinite possibilities, where all things are possible, where you can meet in the field of infinite wisdom and unconditional love, right? There's a lot of really good juju in the month of February. At the same time, there's a lot of heavy stuff going on, especially for the United States. And so finding that port in the storm is really what the astrology and numerology is about in the month of February. If you're new here, Wise Skies is a metaphysical counseling company. We offer one-on-one sessions in human design, in astrology and Akashic records, and deep dives with our intuitives if you're wanting some psychic work. Of course, we believe that you were born wise, that you have all the answers that you need. We always encourage you and empower you to find the answers within, but sometimes you hit a little roadblock and you want some other perspective. And it can feel really magical and synchronistic, and like there's a cosmic connection to have that validated by a reader. And so I encourage you to, check out wiseskiescollective.com. We special month is this month in astrology. And so I want to make sure that you check out the blog for February of 2022, but you can book a session there. You can check out our digital calendar, all kinds of fun things to bump around and find out what's going on in the skies and also in our hearts, right? So back in line with February, what's going on, this 8 month where there's this endless possibilities. We have one of the biggest transits of the month. Jupiter is going to sextile Uranus, and it just feels like big changes, and it's like, oh my gosh, if you hear one more reader say big changes, but really that's what it is. Jupiter in the skies represents positivity, abundance, growth, optimism, fortune, magic carpet rides, gypsies, philosophers, kings, you know what I mean, horses, law. And when it's in a positive relationship with Uranus, the Einstein of the skies, the one who knows things quickly, it's like, oh, there's a meeting of the minds and something just turns around significantly. This can be a really good month to roll the dice if you are poised to take if you're kind of a roller of the dice. This is a good month to go big or go home. That advice isn't good for everybody. Some people are in a more conservative stage of their life, and so just take what I'm saying as the weather report. Maybe it's raining, maybe it's sunny, good news, bad news, who knows? It's just the news. It's just what's there. It's just what's available for us. So let's see, if we look at the astrology, where it starts is that on the first of the year, it's either they're going to be January 31st or February 1st, first of the month. We're going to have a brand new moon. It's going to be in Aquarius. And Aquarius shows us where we want to dream big, where we want to explore, where we want to have new insights and ideas through the lens of groups. And so you might find yourself in new territory, in a new group of people. You might be making some new friends. I know I am. You know what I mean? So this new moon in Aquarius is a really fun time to be uplifted and excited with people that are in your vibration, that feel good to be around, that keep you in your motivation, right? So what's interesting about this new moon is that Aquarius is ruled by the planet Uranus, and Uranus will be squaring this moon. So it can feel kind of like grandfather time is watching, you know what I mean? There might be some decisions that you make based on that time pressure cooker. There might be some emotions that come with it, that might be radical, that might even surprise you, that you didn't even know were there, right? And so giving people plenty of space to have their feelings, right? Especially if they're volcanic Scorpio feelings, right? The idea is that we're getting out of our comfort zone, and sometimes it's messy, and sometimes it's beautiful, and sometimes it's both, right? So at this very first part of the month, getting out of our comfort zones is welcome. And so where do you want to do that? Where can you do that safely? Where can you do that where it has a positive effect for you? I don't know, what have you always wanted to do? Is this the right time to do it? Maybe. So moving past that, Mercury will finally go direct in Capricorn. And there's so much in Capricorn, right? This time of year, we've got Venus, the Sun, Mercury, Mars, right? Yeah. No, not Mars. Wait, Mars? I'm confused. We've got 4 planets. Pluto is in Capricorn. There's a lot of condensed energy in Capricorn this time of year, and a lot in Aquarius too. And so you guys in fixed signs, you guys also that have heavy Capricorn placements are probably going to feel like that pressure cooker, like when it's raining, it's pouring, or when the opportunities are coming, there are many and plenty. It could start to feel like a year of plenty and wonderful for you if it is. Just know that the rest of the year doesn't always feel like this, whatever this is. You know what I mean? It feels like there's a lot condensed in your section of the sky right now, and that's for awareness. So on February 4th, when Mercury goes direct in Capricorn, at the same time, Mars is going to sextile Jupiter. The sun is going to conjunct Saturn. It looks like really practical magic. It looks like long-term plans, visions, goals, things that are seated now, just feel like you're making a change for the better. There's an alternate consideration here. Where have you limited yourself based on fears? Saturn. Where have you limited yourself? Sun, right? Conjunct Saturn, based on your fears. Where have you been too hard? Where have you been too rule oriented? You know, is there a place where you can lighten up? Self-discipline is definitely rewarded, but some of us are on that other side of things where we're almost too disciplined, right? So finding that kind of healthy balance, that where it feels really good, where you're in that sixth house feeling of routine and discipline that rewards you over time. You know, so if you get up and you do 10 sun salutations and you meditate for 20 minutes every single morning, you sing the Kundalini Stava, and something's going to change. You know, you're not going to have the same outcome. Like if you do that over time, something alchemically changes inside, right? So now on the 8th, we've got Mars trine Uranus. This is a boost of energy. This is a little pep in your step. This is some exciting news. This could be that thing that takes you out of your comfort zone, but also puts you in a little bit of like shell shock. You know what I mean? It is a time that, you know, Mars can arrive 3 to 5 days in advance. So just because it's happening on the 8th, you might be feeling it really early. If you're feeling excitement, what is it that you want to follow? What is it that you feel excited about? Do you want to notice what feels exciting to you, right? On the 11th, Mercury is going to conjunct Pluto. I'm really excited to see how this one turns out, because it could go a couple of different ways. Mercury, okay, so it's direct, it's about to re-enter Aquarius, but it's still there in Capricorn with Pluto. And so these meeting of the minds. What do they look like? What do they want to talk about? Where do they want to dive deep, right? Like Mercury wants to study, understand, get the details, get into the rhythm, get the bullet points, understand quickly, right? And it's kind of trickster too, kind of mercurial, kind of has that vibe of like, how can I play a joke? Like, how can I make this more interesting and fun, and that trickster coyote vibe? So we also have Pluto there. So we've got the meeting of Mercury and Pluto in the skies in the sign of Capricorn. Pluto is that one that wants to transcend. And so it's not just about changing things and the butterfly and the newness of it all. It's really about like, whoa, I can't unsee that. I cannot unfeel that. I cannot unhear that. I cannot unthink that. I cannot not have that dream that just happened. And so I feel like it's going to be very revealing of what has been in the underbelly, what has been in the undercurrents, what has been in the subconscious. And to me, that's exciting and fascinating. And it just kind of gives me like, ooh, like this is a great time to understand, right? To have clarity, to have awareness. This is a time when the human resource department needs to do a little digging. This is a time when you need to run all of the reports and the checks that you want to run on the people in your life, right? There's also a lot of mental chemistry. This is when you can be really attracted alchemically to somebody's mind. Now, are they playing narcissistic mind games with you, or are they like really saying something that just transmits a message that you're just allured by? So did I use that word right? I hate it when people on YouTube don't use words right. All right, so hidden information coming to the surface. Maybe it's good, maybe it's bad, who knows, right? Now, on the 14th, happy Valentine's Day. This is a month when we are conditioned to celebrate love and romance and all things beautiful and partnershipy. And a lot of people do that on February 14th. I'm going to suggest maybe there's another day for you this month for that. On the 14th, Mercury will re-enter Aquarius. That's kind of cool. That's kind of freaky. That's kind of, doing something different, playing a different game. It's really rebellious. It's really open-minded, right? We feel like there's new ideas, and it's just kind of a fun, refreshing, mental clarity day. Mercury will be in Aquarius through March 10th, so you have lots of room to play with that energy. But also, what I was going to say is that maybe you want to slide your Valentine's Day plans into the 16th, because on that day, Venus is going to conjunct Mars and we get a full moon in Leo. So, Venus, if you want to celebrate your Venusian vibes, this is very, moonstone and like sparkly, beautiful gems. These are both from, this is apophyllite. These are both from my friend Elise at Zelfa's Cloak. So, there are ways to have like kind of a Venus party without it being so homogenized. You could make something really magical and cavernous, and Melody Gardot playing in the background and her golden voice of liquid light streaming through, and maybe there's a lot of pink foods and soft hues and things like this. But Venus, that's all Venus, and it's right on top of Mars, which is the opposite, right? It's the masculine, the permeator. Still don't think that I'm using that word right. Permeator? Anyways, Mars goes for it. Mars inserts, right? Mars is active. Mars initiates, right? And so when these two are together, it's east meets west. It's yin and yang. It's male and female. It's the divine masculine and the divine feminine. It's on the 16th. Maybe it'll show up early for you guys. I don't know. But also on the 16th is that full moon in Leo. And so allowing that inner child to come out and play, and to be rewarded and recognized, and just see yourself, how far you've come. How far has your inner child come? Look at that, right? Like, have some appreciation, have a full circle, full moon moment for that one inside of you that has gone through a lot, that is still here, and that still wants to play. So my cousin is an amazing artist. Actually, everybody in my family are amazing artists, and I can't wait to find my like art that it looks good. You know what I mean? But she gave me some advice the other day. She said, "Why don't you get your stuff out, and that way you'll use it? Because if it's just in the closet or at the store or in the backyard or wherever your supplies are that you like to play art with." She said, if they're not out, you're not going to do it. And it's okay for it to look messy, right? Like, it's okay to have an unfinished project just kind of out. And so on this full moon on February 16th in Leo, where do you want to be a little messy? Where do you want to leave an unfinished project out, and over time continue to develop it, refine it with your own lens of beauty? One of my astrology teachers, colleagues, and dear friends, Deborah, she always says you need to find somebody who finds the same version of pretty as you, right? Especially when you're getting your hair done, but it's also when, I don't know, in life, it's like nice to have somebody that has the same version of pretty, right? So keeping that in mind, she has a really cool blog called Pink Makes Everything Better. So if you want to check out Deborah, she also had this is her year anniversary of her album coming out with her husband, Pat Mastelotto. So beautiful, beautiful music, beautiful artist. And that's some of her advice. So coming from her. Now let's see, where are we? We're on the 16th, exactly. Okay, so celebrating something for yourself, setting intentions around play, removing blocks to creativity, reaching your highest potential through the lens of play. These are some things you can work with. Now, on the 18th is when that big Jupiter-Uranus sextile comes through, and that it's one of the outer planets, so you're going to feel it all month long. It's going to release that day, and then it'll fade a little bit, right? So these moments of opportunities are going to come up naturally and organically as you're watching and responding to the flow of life. But that is the day that it's exact. It is exciting. It's one of the more favorable transits of the whole year. It gives us that feeling of anticipation of good things. It gives us that anticipation of hope, that anticipation that the Wheel of Fortune is turning in our favor, as April shared in the January Akashic Record reading. I just love that. It actually gave me tears and chill bumps when she was doing that part of the reading, but that anticipation of the wheel turning in your favor, right? On the 18th, also, the sun will enter Pisces. So happy birthday to all of our Aquarius. Happy birthday to all of our Pisces. With the sun in Pisces through March 20th, all of us can kind of work with that Piscean vibes of the sea, of the inner knower, you know, the subtle consciousness that flows through all of us, that oneness that we have with the universe, that universal wisdom is really what I want to say, that compassionate heart. And that is so perfect with the numerology being the 8, the on the side, the infinity number, right? Just that expanse, that into the mystic, like that kind of a feeling we can all access. And so working with that again through March 20th, if you want. On February 20th, the Pluto return will happen in the United States. So I said that kind of weird. The United States will be experiencing a Pluto return, and I have really been astro shamed for being overly optimistic, right? So please know that the United States Pluto return is by no means an exciting, favorable anticipation of hope event. It feels very dense in the ethers. I'm going to try to explain it a little bit, but if you want more information, I go into a little bit more detail in our 2022 predictions, which is on the blog and in the videos at wiseskiescollective.com. But the idea here is that, you know, you have a birthday every year. Mars returns every 2 years, the terrible twos. The 27 club, right? Saturn returns every 27 years. And so knowing when the planets are going to return in the skies to a place that it was in that person's birth chart helps shed light on a growth cycle, you know, on a newness. And for the United States, so Pluto takes 248 years to go around the wheel. So people typically don't experience a Pluto return, but countries do. And there are many astrologers who have gone into that field of study and looked at the other countries and the history and the upheaval and the civic rebellions and all of the things that can happen with a Pluto return. For us in the United States, it's happening in the sign of Capricorn. So this is government, this is ambitions, this is corporate jobs, this is really earthy things too, right? Like the food supply, the food chain, things like this can be affected. And so by no means do I want you to put on rose-colored glasses and tell you that everything's going to be okay. But I do kind of see that the Pluto return gets heavier as the year goes on. And so just because it's happening here on February 20th, yes, you can probably feel it. You know, you can probably see it in the media still, but it's not going to be until a little bit later in the year that it has that more massive clear, I guess, effect in the media and in our personal lives. I want to note too that the Dust Bowl of the 1930s happened during our Pluto half return. Okay, so if you have listened to our 2022 predictions, you know that I'm seeing a lot of heat in the skies. I don't know if it's going to be a dry summer or a wet summer. Where you live, it's going to, you know, be different for everybody. But the idea is that half return for Pluto did mark a very significant change in our ability to be self-sufficient, to have victory gardens, to have self-sustaining food supply, right? So I just want to drop that little seed for others that are needing to hear that, right? Now, on February 23rd, let's see, the rest of the month, we've got like 2 goodies and a baddie. So those are going to mix together. I don't know what you're going to feel first. On the 23rd, Mars is going to sextile Neptune. Where do you notice that you want to go for it? Where do you have spiritual vision? Mars and Neptune together are interesting to work with. I have them conjunct in my first house. Mars likes to go fast, you know, Neptune likes to hang out in the water. And so one way that that was expressed in my life is I was on the water ski team during college. I really enjoyed doing the jump and going fast and flying through the air and plummeting to the ground and having all of, just like fun in the water and the I guess zhuzh of it all, being out in the sun, exploring life, having that adventure, right? So Mars is not conjunct Neptune, but it's sextile Neptune, and this is still very positive. Mars and Neptune can work together negatively. So depending on where it hits you in the chart, in your chart, it's like, yeah, there can be toxins, delusions, deceptions, misguidedness, but they're in a positive aspect. So let's just roll with it. Let's see where we want to take new leadership, where we want to have new spiritual vision, where we want to get inspired by something. It's really a golden moment. It's like, where do you want to get creative and find inspiration? Do you have a new muse? There's a lot of creative energy available in February and a lot of go for it. So I want to inspire the artists, because also in April, you have some really interesting changes in the culture of the arts in April. And so this February being a very creative month, just go for it. Just see what comes out of you. Songs, plays, music, and dancing, yoga routines. Like, I don't know, where are you creative? Like, some people are creative in the kitchen, some people are creative in the garden. So I just want to encourage you, because we have the bandwidth to access that right now. We have less bandwidth as the year goes on, right? And so it's like, let's just be in our innocence and our hope and our creativity at this moment. Also, Mercury is going to sextile Chiron. Venus is going to sextile Neptune. That's on the 24th. That feels like healing conversations. It feels like clarity. It feels like you've been through the mud and you've got an idea. We went through that like Mercury Pluto thing. We got through some of the trauma or the shock or the aha or the clarity around the things that were hidden, and now it's like we're ready to talk it out. We're ready to kind of level with each other. It feels very kind and supportive energy. So aligning the head with the heart, like I just re-listened to all of the heart math trainings, like we're right, like 3 minutes a day, just touching the heart, touching the head center, and just breathing into it, letting this and this align with gratitude. Gratitude is one of those things that it's like, oh God, are we really going to talk about like gratitude? But really, and some days I'm full of gratitude and some days I reach for something to be grateful about. It just depends on your state of mind. But it can be one of your tools in your magic meditation set, is to just stop, pause, 3 minutes, in and out, and really, really conjure the feeling of something you're so grateful for, right? And if you can't get there, just spend a little time trying to get there, right? Any effort counts, right? Any effort counts. So on the February 25th, did you guys catch that? The February 25th, we've got Mercury square Uranus, and that's kind of a red alert. That's kind of like sirens blaring. I don't know when it's going to come in. Mercury can come in a couple of days early. So something's going to feel disruptive and mercurial, and it has a twist to it. It's really kind of a pain in the ass time. I would not recommend traveling during this time. It does feel explosive. It does feel like not only do like electronics go hinky, but it just doesn't feel like things are like, this is maybe not a day to schedule the electrician, but that you might have to, you know what I mean? It's one of those accidents. Would it help to replace caffeine with water? Would it help to just do something more nurturing and soft? It feels very like nerve fry energy. It feels very migraine-y. It feels very disturbing, right? Disturbance in the force. It feels very solar flare-y. And so just know, at the end of the month, that's going to be part of the weather, right? We don't have to participate in it, right? So guys, that's it for the February forecast. I'm so glad you're here. I want to invite you to our membership. We have a couple of things cooking this spring. I'm teaching some courses at McLennan University online. Sorry, it's McLennan Community College, and it's online, and I'm teaching psychic development. I'm also teaching astrology for beginners. But through Wise Skies, we also offer a membership at a very cost-effective price of $22 a month. And so in the February membership, you're going to get a class about ancestral tarot, working with your ancestry, working with your lineage through the tarot, by Addie Broyles. Her business is Don't Fear the Death Card. She's an amazing writer. I met her through the food writing community. She and I were both food and travel journalists. And so she has continued down a very interesting path of working with your origin family. She's got some beautiful writing up. She's helped me personally. I'm so excited that she's coming to teach us in the membership. I'm going to be doing your Astro-Tarot forecast, so a deep dive with 3 different decks of what it looks like for your sign, Aries through Pisces in the month of February. April's going to do an Akashic record reading for us about relationships, about love. What do we need to know about our relationships in the month of February, according to the Akashic records? You know, I'm always fascinated to hear what comes out of her mouth. She's such a beautiful guidess, you know. And then Leisha is also going to do our human design support call. And so in that call, you can come, it's a Zoom, you can come with questions that you have about your own human design. If you're new and you just want to observe and watch and listen, that's great too. Last month, I just listened and I learned so much about one of our members who had a question. She happens to be a manifesting generator who's emotionally defined with fear motivation. And so we were talking about what does it feel like when she's emotionally clear? And we were talking about some decisions that she was having to make. And so I think everybody learned a lot from it. We got a lot of positive feedback. And so I just welcome you to come to the membership. Again, it's $22. I'll put a link in the description. It's also at wiseskiescollective.com. Heads up for March, what do we got? We got a new moon in Pisces. What mystery do you want to access? Good news early in the month, Mars and Venus are going to conjunct. They're going to chunk Pluto. This is love connections, right? This is deep, mysterious, karmic, juicy love connections. And then on the 5th, the sun's going to conjunct Jupiter. And this is when kind of luck favors the bold. So if you've rolled the dice in February, I think you're going to have more and more good fortune as we're into March. I don't know that it's going to last, but I know that right here in this particular month, there are some good spots. And yes, yeah, the Pluto return is serious. And don't let my smile in pink sweater and cozy coffee and pretty stones mislead you. Like there are some intense things going on. So if you need to study up on the Pluto returns, there are many articles. I'll link ours as well. But I just send you all of our grace and love as you go forward and you experience life on your own design, on your own terms. You know, this is a unique journey that we're all on. This is a unique trip. And this is just the weather forecast that we're living under. So let it inspire you, but don't live by it. You know what I mean? Live by your own response system and fuel your own dreams and desires, and know that there's a lot of opportunity to get creative in February, that there's endless possibilities, that you can reach out to the field of unconditional love and infinite wisdom where all things are possible, and just explore, you know, just enjoy the ride, enjoy the passenger consciousness. What's there for you to see in February? All right, guys, until we can hang out again, thanks so much for being here, and namaste.